Shut up! Orange hoodie, keep it, zip, me, I'm talking. Yeah, that's right. You do what I say.
Thanks, Tyson.
Not everyone that posts on Tumblr is a useless, whiny cunt. Right? And I use the term cunt in an informed, not anti-feminist way. Because as we know, cunt is short for, oh no, I'm thinking pussy. No, I am using cunt in an anti-feminist, misogynist, female vagina way to insult people by implying that being female is bad. No, I'm just using it as an insult. So, not everybody on Tumblr is evil, but Tumblr is a really good example because that's where we'll see all the posts from, right? It's kind of like how we realize, I like your Kigu, realize that not everyone on Facebook does stupid shit and pesters everybody for Farmville shit, but when we see those posts, that's where it's from, right? So same basic deal. And there are people who are shitheads like I'm about to describe who don't post on Tumblr, so it's not, you know, a perfect one-to-one match. But I'm going to draw two charts. Ten. Okay.
This is amazingly talented.
He's got a college doctorate. I dare you to argue with him.
I'm okay. No more arguing.
Behold my graph of alarmingly square penises. Okay, this is an outrage graph. This is, I mean, it's not always like this. For some people, the line goes more like this. But this is, you know, approximately. So this is how provocative something is to rage. And this is how angry people get in response. So, one would be, we both like Firefly, but my friend prefers Mal to River, slightly. There is a disagreement. I might occasionally give him shit about liking a naked browncoat's gun inappropriately, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, big fucking deal, who cares? 10 is literally Hitler. Okay? So, like, Calgary has neo-Nazis that have public marches and the cops will surround them and make sure that nobody kills the neo-Nazis who are marching because we value free speech, because it's not speech that we agree with that needs to be protected, it's speech that we hate that needs to be protected because, right, Galileo spoke against power. I mean, it's a lot more complicated than that, but Galileo was right that power was wrong, and everybody treated Galileo like we treat neo-Nazis. So it's important, even if we think someone is wrong, that they still be able to express their ideas, because 20 years from now, it may turn out that their ideas were super, super useful, maybe not in the way we understood them to be. So we keep people talking even if we disagree with them. So still our outrage about dealing with neo-Nazis, because we've had that lesson. Literally Hitler. We don't like neo-Nazis, we think they're a bunch of shitheads. Okay? 5 or 6 is something like dog got run over in traffic, lost my job, right? Like 7 or 8 is maybe, you know, you lose a limb, you get cancer. 9 is the love of your life dies of cancer. That might actually, for most people, outrage might be like over to 11, and Hitler matters, but not as much as that, right? But this is you get the general idea, right? Okay, this represents most like mentally and emotionally normal, well-adjusted adults, as much as anyone is well-adjusted, which is nobody, but you know, there's the general perception of, okay, you do not scream and throw glass bottles at your friend who prefers one character to another, right? Normal adults.
Depends on the character.
Yeah. But yeah. And we do not generally react to Kristallnacht with like, oh, that's too bad. Right? Like there's proportional response. Fuck you, Chris. Okay, so Here is a second line. I'm going to draw 3 lines here. But here's the second line. Some of you may have seen this graph on the internet instead. This is the response chart of a 6-month-old toddler. Because a 6-month-old toddler is capable of understanding approximately that much of what's going on around them, right? Toddler goes, I have heard a loud noise. What the fuck is wrong with everything? This is the worst thing I've ever experienced. Because it is. I've shit myself. I don't like this anymore. Make it stop. I feel a little bit hungry. The world is fucking ending. I'm starving to death. What's going on? Because I've never felt this before, right? I feel kind of gassy. Oh God, stop the presses. I'm going to explode. Something's terribly wrong, right? For a toddler, no matter what happens, it is the first time they've experienced something that bad. It is literally Hitler for a toddler, right? A toddler's experience, every good thing is the most marvelous thing ever, and every bad thing is the worst thing ever. Because in their experience it is, right? Totally justified. This is also the response chart of a Tumblr user. Neo-Nazis, literally Hitler. Someone oppresses, like Russia passes laws against being homosexual, literally Hitler. I mean, it's close. We can understand that amount of rage if that's an issue you care about, yeah? Coney, 2012. Literally Hitler. And we're like, okay, very bad, but there's a lot of literally Hitler in your responses. There has not been yet a scaling down of rage in response to every stimulus. That seems a little odd. We agree, we're also quite upset about child soldiers and stuff, but you seem to be mad about everything. But okay, whatever. Right? Pet abuse. Literally Hitler. And okay, animals are cute and fuzzy. We appreciate that life has value. Pets that we love should not be abused. That is bad. But possibly Hitler was in fact worse than pet abuse. And I mean, some people disagree with that on a philosophical basis, and Tumblr disagrees because no, it's literally Hitler. Okay? Starbucks cancels caramel macchiato frappes. Literally Hitler. With which I think most people would disagree. Someone doesn't like your Black Butler self-insert fanfiction. Literally Hitler. Okay, so have you noticed a similarity in the response charts between a 6-month-old toddler and a Tumblr user? Yeah. Would anyone care to offer an interpretation of why this might be the case?
Dumb fucks.
That is a summation rather than an interpretation, but thank you.
Raging personality disorder.
Not the one I was going for, but yeah, it's entirely possible that that is a completely accurate explanation.
Only toddlers use Tumblr.
Correct, but not the exact phrasing I was looking for. Any others?
Element soft and 6 months.
Yes, I like that very much. Okay, good, all good answers. The problems that a Tumblr user faces. Okay, allow me to paint a picture of your average Tumblr user. White, teenager, living in their parents' house, that's normal, teenager. Wealthy, and I don't mean necessarily dad drives a Mercedes to work, although I think for many of them that's the case.
Middle class.
Upper middle class, probably, at least middle class. So everyone here is aware of the 1%, right? Everyone here has a mental image of what the 1% is, right? White dude in a suit, works downtown in a large building, right? Okay? Does anyone have a different interpretation of the 1% than I just gave? Anybody? Hands up? No? Okay. allow me to draw a chart. Allow me to step over there, apparently, and draw a chart that will explain the 1% to you.
And this is really drawn out.
Who said that? Wait, were you punning?
Yes.
Thank you. You're well done.
That was the word I get insulted.
Don't be worried about that theory. You will be still.
Yeah, no, puns are 100% okay. Okay, so this will be percent of population. And this is wealth. The economists and statisticians have a thing called the long tail, which shows up in charts a lot. Right? The long tail. It's why the internet economy works, that sort
The
of thing.
bell curve is like, yeah, not the bell curve's even shorter on the actual one.
Bell curve is like that. This is, I forget the name of it. It's been a while since it's
Exponential?
Yeah, exponential. So, but yeah, so again, the 1%'s over here, everyone else is over there. The long tail is where the bulk of the money is. All you have to do is find a way to unlock it. That's why the internet economy works. So, percent of population, money. 1% of the population has, I don't know, like 80% of the money. This is hand wavy sort of. It's probably like 20% has the top 80, and then of that top 80, the top 20 has the top 80. That 80-20 mix shows up a lot. It's that. So, okay, everyone's familiar with this particular map. That particular graph makes sense. We all understand it. Who here thinks that this is a graph of Calgary? Okay, well you're wrong. It is a graph of Calgary. Like this in Calgary, the top 1% of, my God, there are $1.5 million condos in downtown Calgary that are like 3,000 square feet, like evidently Arab princes moved back home and left us behind. They're gorgeous. Who the fuck spends $1.5 million on a vacation condo in downtown Calgary? People with too much fucking money. The 1%. That's it. Easy drive to and offices for like not that I'm saying that specifically does that. But okay, you know what else this is a graph of? North America. North America has this graph. Top 1% of the population has the top 80 whatever percent, maybe 60. It depends on how it's ordered. Of the money, right? Okay? Everyone, yeah, 1%, dude, we fucking know. What's your problem? This is also the world graph. Top 1% of the world population has top 80% of the money. Okay. In Calgary, I personally am there, probably. Like I do database work on Oracle for the oil field. Like those three combinations of words mean that I will be reasonably well secured financially forever. I mean, barring in the world of it. But so I'm about there. Many of you are here. Many of you are students, and therefore down there. Right? We're all, we know where we're on this graph. Okay. The problem is that we assume that where we are in our immediate context is where we are in the universe. Right? That whole the Earth is the center of the universe problem that the cosmologists had to deal with, like, no, the Earth goes around the sun, and the sun goes around some other shit, and we're just in a backwater part of the galaxy. We're not all that important. Because humans think that our experience is everyone else's experience. And our experience is that we're terribly important to our lives, so we think we're terribly important to everyone else's. So we think that, I'm a student. I'm there. I'm not part of the 1%, because clearly 1%'s over here. I'm not it. I am broke all the time. I can barely afford to go to Otafest. I am not the 1%. The 1% are greedy bastards. Okay, so North America, students are there. This is reserved for black youth in poverty. This is reserved for rednecks in the Ozarks that, through no fault of their own, okay, some fault of their own, they live in cardboard paper shacks in the mountains and play banjos. and can't afford dental, well, nobody in America can afford dental care. Canada neither, it's not covered by Medicare. But, you know, poor people live here. Students are by definition not poor people. They may be in debt, but they can afford shit. If you have ever bought a caramel macchiato, you're out of this poverty zone for North America. You may not be 1%, but you're not the bottom 30, or the bottom 10, or whatever. Okay, so that may be news to some of you, right? Some of you may be like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I guess I'm not like at the bottom 1%, okay, but I'm not 1%. I'm not the top 1%. I'm not that rich asshole guy. Okay, so if this is the world graph, okay, so this is Africa, and there's most of Asia, and there's Eastern Europe, and Eastern Europe looks a lot better than Africa. You've been to Eastern Europe? Holy shit, there are children living in sewers dying of drug addiction because the alternative is worse. Okay, Eastern Europe is not happy fun times. South America, probably there. I mean, this is ballpark stuff, right? North America is there. 2, 5, maybe 10%, okay? Our experience as a student, I'm way the fuck down here. I'm the bottom 10%, I'm broke, I have no money, don't have a car, can't take girls out on dates. Yeah, but turns out you have indoor plumbing. When you turn the lights on, they turn on all night. You don't have friends who die of diseases we cured 100 years ago, right? That puts you here. If you aren't at risk of dying of polio, you're here. If you're not at risk of dying of dysentery, you're here. So your position on this part of the graph ends up being there. Friends, we are, by being here in this context at this time, part of the, maybe not 1%, but we're part of the 5, maybe part of the 10. We are the fucking rich assholes that everyone else on the planet goes, God damn, I wish this greedy bastard would send me $5.
I do.
Good for you. Point is, when you travel, and I recommend everyone do travel, like for $2,000 you can probably get a cheap flight somewhere and back. You know, sleep in hostels, that sort of thing. And it's really cheap to fly to the really poor countries on a Thursday. When you travel, when you have more experience with other cultures and other contexts, you stop seeing this and you start seeing this or this, and you come back home and you go, I cannot believe how much fucking money is around here. Yeah, I'm broke, and by broke, I mean I only buy one caramel macchiato a week, right? Like, holy shit, like you come back from like Africa or Asia, and you're like, yeah, I'll take a caramel macchiato, and you look at it and you're like, holy fuck, I know someone who has to work a week to earn this much money, and I just blew it on a frothy drink, I feel guilty. And you probably should if you bitch about the 1%, because that's you fucking assholes. So, Tumblr users stay in their parents' basement and in their expensive private high schools and in North America and online. If you have a computer, you're fucking rich. If you have internet access, you're super fucking rich. I'm not saying you have a moral obligation to send money to